Imagine being paid to enter a dead woman's mind, only to find a document so vile it feels contagious. Not notes, not drafts, a hidden autobiography. A mother describing in ugly, intimate detail how she hated her own daughters, envied them, and may have destroyed them. And the worst part is not what's on the page. The worst part is that this confession is hidden inside the house of the man you are starting to fall for. That is the nightmare at the heart of Colleen Hoover's Verity, because this story is not really about a manuscript. It is about what happens when truth becomes a weapon, desire becomes evidence tampering, and one woman's private words turn another woman into an accomplice. Our way into that nightmare is Lowen Ashley, a struggling writer who is grieving, broke, blocked, and emotionally hollowed out when opportunity shows up wearing the face of Jeremy Crawford. Jeremy is the husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, a literary star now left incapacitated after a catastrophic car crash. He offers Lowen the kind of job that can save her life, finish Verity's remaining books, so Lowen travels to the Crawford home to gather notes, outlines, and whatever fragments Verity left behind. That is the official reason she is there. But very quickly, the house starts feeling less like a workplace and more like a sealed crime scene. Every room carries grief. Every silence feels staged. And upstairs, Verity lies in bed like a body that forgot to die. Then Lowen finds so be it. This was supposed to be research. Instead, it reads like a confession written by someone stripping the skin off her own soul. Verity writes not like a mother recalling tragedy, but like a narrator savoring her collapse. The manuscript paints her as excessively possessive of Jeremy, resentful of the twin daughters who stole his attention, and willing to think the unthinkable. The pages keep getting darker. She admits to trying to terminate the pregnancy. She describes wanting her children gone. She frames Harper not as a daughter, but as a rival, a stain on the life she wanted. And when Lowen reaches the sections dealing with the deaths of Chasten and Harper, the line between monstrous fantasy and literal murder does not just blur, it snaps. That is where the book becomes psychologically poisonous, because Lowen does not stop reading. She cannot. Every new section makes Verity seem less like a wounded wife and more like a predator trapped in a bed. And the more Lowen reads, the more Jeremy looks like a man sleeping beside evil without knowing it. But Verity is clever enough not to leave Lowen morally clean. Tells herself she is protecting Jeremy by hiding the manuscript. She tells herself she needs more certainty. She tells herself timing matters. But deep down, another possibility starts breathing under all of that restraint. If Jeremy saw these pages, he could never love Verity again. And if he can never love Verity again, who is standing right there to replace her? This is not just suspense, it is contamination. Lowen is not merely uncovering a secret, she is being reshaped by it. Then the house begins to answer back. Lowen starts sensing that Verity is not as helpless as she seems. She feels watched. Doors change state. Objects move. Devices switch off. Crew lets slip that his mother has said things she should not be able to say. And hovering over all of this is the image that makes the novel feel almost supernatural, even though it never fully becomes a ghost story. Verity's body upstairs, silent and blank, while her presence seems to leak into the house like mold in the walls. Lowen's dread turns into surveillance. She begins tracking signs, testing reality, reading every tiny inconsistency as proof that the woman in the bed is performing. At the same time, her feelings for Jeremy harden into intimacy. Desire and paranoia start feeding each other. The house becomes a closed circuit where sex, grief, suspicion, and text are all electrifying the same air. And this is why Verity hits so hard with thriller readers. It understands that the scariest monster in the house may not be Verity herself, but the story Lowen is building around her. Jeremy seems gentle, respectful, even noble through Lowen's eyes. Verity's manuscript makes him look like the tragic widower of a sociopath before his wife is even dead. Lowen becomes more certain, more attached, and more trapped. She is no longer deciding whether to reveal information. She is deciding which narrative gets to survive. The woman upstairs as innocent victim, or the woman on those pages as a mother-shaped void. Once that choice forms in Lowen's mind, the ending becomes inevitable. Someone is going to die, and the person who picks the version of truth will also pick the victim. Eventually, Lowen hands Jeremy the manuscript. This is the point of no return. He reads "so be it," breaks, and storms upstairs. Verity, finally threatened with exposure, drops the performance. She is not vacant. She is aware. She has seen more than anyone realized. And in that instant, the entire novel detonates. Jeremy tries to strangle her. Lowen stops him not out of mercy, but out of practicality. She knows a manual strangling will expose him, so together they do something colder. Murder into a manageable household procedure. Force the vomit. Stage the scene. Let it look medical. Let it look accidental. And just like that, the woman who may have written the most horrifying confession in the house dies with her husband and his new lover standing over her. The relief is chilling because it feels earned. The monster is gone. Except this story never rewards relief without punishing it. Months later, when Lowen is pregnant and preparing for a new life with Jeremy, the house delivers one last document, a hidden letter from Verity. And this letter is designed like a final act of psychological sabotage. Verity says the manuscript was not a confession at all. It was practice, therapy, a dark writing exercise where she cast herself as the antagonist, the way she did in her novels. She claims Harper's death was an accident. She claims Jeremy already reacted to the manuscript once before and was the true danger. Suddenly, the dead woman is no longer the obvious villain. She might be a trapped wife who performed disability to survive. Or she might be a genius liar writing one last lie from beyond the grave. And Lowen's response tells you everything about how badly this house has infected her. She destroys the letter, not because she knows it is false, but because she cannot afford for it to be true. That is the real ending of Verity, not the death. The choice. A manuscript turns Lowen against Verity, a letter threatens to turn Lowen against herself. And instead of solving the mystery, the book traps her inside the same machinery that destroyed the Crawfords in the first place, narrative as control. In my view, that is why this novel went so viral. It does not ask you to identify the killer and move on. It forces you to decide whether confession is more believable than revision, whether performance is proof of guilt or proof of survival, and whether Lowen is the heroine who uncovered evil or the successor who inherited it. So now, I want your verdict. Did Lowen find the autobiography of a psychopath, or did she help a master storyteller finish one last plot twist from the grave? Are you team manuscript or team letter? Drop your side in the comments below. And if you want more breakdowns of dark fiction, moral collapse, and endings that leave fingerprints on your brain, subscribe to Chapters and Concepts.